So yeah, an F1 race happened in Qatar, and well, it was a pretty interesting race where there was quite a few safety cars, some little bit of F1 ref ball, where the race control was pretty bad. But hey, at least it wasn't NASCAR that was race control that was fucking up in the like we've seen all year. But even despite that, though, we still get the same result we had all year with Max Verstappen getting his 9th win of the season in Qatar. For Verstappen to prove that his championship was no fluke and that he still got it, despite not having the best car on the grid this year. And yeah, and of course, the Constructors Championship goes down to the wire. Because throughout, of course, on the sprint race, this was also the last sprint race of the season in Qatar. Because, oh yeah, I keep forgetting the sprint races are still a goddamn thing in F1. At least that gimmick is more tolerable than NASCAR's chase format, that's for sure. And of course, the sprint race was won by Oscar Piastri after Lando Norris let Oscar by to take the win. Mainly because Oscar did the same thing for Lando at Brazil a couple weeks ago. So at least this makes sense and it's pretty fair. It's not as egregious as what happened in Hungary earlier in the year when Lando got fucked over. But he had a clearly faster car than Piastri. But yeah, and of course, McLaren get pulling away and of course gain some ground on Ferrari in the Constructors Championship. Because even though Verstappen walked up the driver's title last week in Las Vegas, the Constructors Championship is still up for grabs. But in the race, though, Verstappen initially got the pole until Verstappen got a penalty for an incident with George Russell. Beep! That gives Verstappen a one-place grid penalty, dropping him to second, which means now Russell got the pole. And then Verstappen got the lead, and then just Verstappen dominated the whole race from there. And Verstappen could go ahead and cry about how he has no more respect for George Russell when it was Verstappen that was the instigator in that situation. He can cry about it all he wants. We don't fucking care, Verstappen. We all know you race like a fucking douche. And the FIA is getting fed up with his bullshit. Because even the FIA knows Verstappen races everyone like a douche. And they're getting fed up with it. Honestly, a one-place grid penalty is not enough. The bad news is Verstappen is nowhere near having enough penalty points on his license to get a one-race suspension. Honestly, a suspension is the only way Verstappen will fucking learn not to race like a douche. That is literally the only way. Because it's a lot more humbling experience when somebody else drives your car for a race. And the PR team's got to explain to sponsors why the driver's not in the car. And then it's just a nightmare shit show that won't end. But yeah, Sally Verstappen's nowhere near having enough points on his license to trigger suspension. Like, he's not fucking Kevin Magnussen vehicular terrorism bad with his douche racing. But still. And of course, in the late going, it looked like when Lando Norris might have had a chance to possibly have a shot at beating Verstappen for the win, until under the yellow flag conditions on one of the safety cars, when Lando would fail to slow down during his slow down, and what y'all know, that's a safety hazard when you don't slow down under the yellow flag conditions. Which meant, Lando, stop and go penalty for you. Beep. Lando got a stop and go penalty, and that takes him out of contention for the win. Even despite the best efforts from Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, it was not enough to stop Max Verstappen, as Verstappen got the 9th win of the year in Qatar. So the more things change, the more they stay the same, with Verstappen winning. However, one thing that won't stay the same is Red Bull's dominance, as of course Red Bull has officially been eliminated from the Constructors Championship battle. So the chance of a three-peat is up in smoke for Red Bull. No three-peat for the Bulls. I don't think the Red Bull really cares, though. They gave Verstappen his fourth Drivers' Championship. I guess that means more to them than a Constructors title. You know what the crazy thing about Verstappen's 4 Drivers' titles are? Only in 2 of them did Verstappen have the best car that year. The two titles he didn't have the best car were 2021, when he beat Lewis Hamilton in that winner-take-all finale at Abu Dhabi. And this year, when his team was nowhere near the best the second half of the year. Especially with Sergio Perez constantly shitting the bed every week. And now Sergio Perez says he's going to start taking racing seriously. Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, Checo? You're now taking this shit seriously? You should have been taking this shit seriously back in March when the season started. But, oh, now you want to take it serious when your fucking job is on the line. God fucking damn it. Like, seriously, why couldn't you just start taking it seriously back in March when the season started? Because you really did nothing to help Verstappen all year, while his rivals gained ground on him. And now, 2025, there's no guarantee Verstappen wins the title next year, as next year's championship battle is going to be very wide open next year, since McLaren and Ferrari have caught up and Mercedes ain't that far behind. But yeah, and also George Russell, he would also fall off throughout the race, and he would not end up on the podium. As the podium would get wrapped up by Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, Russell would end up 4th. And then Carlos Sainz finished 6th ahead of Lando Norris, as Sainz could not get past Pierre Gasly in the closing laps. And quite an interesting top 10. But the bottom line was, Ferrari would get 26 points at Qatar, while McLaren would only get 17 points. So whatever Ferrari lost to McLaren in the sprint race, Ferrari effectively got it back thanks to Lando's fuck up under the yellow flag. As there was a chance for McLaren to lock up the Constructors' title, but Ferrari actually used great strategy and took advantage of McLaren's misfortunes. Never thought I'd put that together in the same sense with Ferrari, with how much Ferrari fucks everything up and likes to flush good things down the toilet. But hey, if the shoe fits, I guess. And Ferrari told McLaren, you ain't locking anything up today. And that the only thing McLaren locked up at Qatar was their clown certificates. As Ferrari has forced the Constructors' Championship to go all the way down to Abu Dhabi. So even though Verstappen locked up one title, another championship will go down to a season finale to one race. And holy shit, a season-long championship bout, it goes down to one race? And it happened naturally? Hey, NASCAR, take notes. But McLaren will enter the finale 21 points ahead of Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. And in terms of the Constructors' Championship, the maximum amount of points you can gain or lose in a race is 44. So McLaren can clinch the title just by not losing 22 points to Ferrari at Abu Dhabi. Ferrari needs to gain at least 22 points on McLaren to have any chance to win the Constructors' title. As, of course, both teams have had a long streak of not winning the Constructors' title in a long time. I believe for Ferrari, it will be their first Constructors' title since 2008. While for McLaren, it's been a while since McLaren last won it. I believe it was like 2000 or something like that. It was the early 2000s the last time McLaren won it. It's been a while since McLaren last won it. No, McLaren didn't. Well, McLaren didn't win it in 2007 because that was the whole Spygate thing and they got stripped of all their points. And McLaren didn't win in 08 because Ferrari had the better car, but Lewis just beat Felipe Massa by 1 point. But yeah, for Ferrari, regardless of who wins this Constructors' Championship battle, one of these two teams, McLaren or Ferrari, is guaranteed to end their long losing streak in the Constructors' Championship. The two teams that effectively pissed away the driver's title and Verstappen run away with it on pure consistency alone. The two teams will battle it out for the Constructors as their consolation prize. But yeah, honestly, this year just shows why Max Verstappen is a great driver. And Verstappen is now past a 3,000 point career points plateau, still pointing third on the all-time F1 list for points scored and his most points scored in a driver's career. The only two drivers in F1 that have scored more points than Verstappen are Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. One is still racing. One is retired. Although Vettel may come out of retirement, depends on what happens with Audi, since Audi is trying to persuade Vettel to come out of retirement. So that's a time will tell type deal. But yeah, Verstappen wins the race to just solidify that he is the rightful champion. I mean, the one thing we could debate about with Verstappen when locking up the title 2 races early is that there's no debate now there's no debate that Verstappen did indeed deserve the title. Still more worthy champion than Logano, that's for fucking sure. Anyway, On to the season finale at Abu Dhabi next week. McLaren versus Ferrari for the Constructors. Which team will the racing gods smile on to have their long drought end? Tune in next Sunday to find out. See y'all later.